Hey guys, it's Katie, and today's episode I'm here to spill the tea. Hence the tea on how I tore my Lisfranc. Hey guys, it's Katie. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. A lot of you know me personally, have heard this story, but for the greater purpose of this is sharing my story with you for those around the world that don't know me and are currently going through the same thing. I know when my injury first happened, I looked up on YouTube like what's the progression of my healing process, because it is such a severe injury and it does take roughly 18 to 20 months to fully recover. And when you're on the couch and you're in like a huge cast, or you're in like one of those splints and you can't put any weight on your foot, it's not easy when you're in the thick of it. So I'm here to provide hope for you that you are going to get through this, and honestly just take every day, day by day. Anyway, stay tuned for my story. This is the story of how I tore my Lisfranc. Now, if you don't know what the Lisfranc is the ligament. Let's see, these fingers are your bones of your foot, and the Lisfranc is the ligament that connects so that your bones can so it helps you walk. On Tuesday, January 26th, I was getting ready for work. It's early. I was walking down the steps. My house is all hardwood floor, so the last step blends with the floor, and I'm going to show you a picture and I'll put it in the top left corner over here. So I'm walking down the steps. It's kind of dark and I misstepped on the last step, and pretty much what I remember happening is that my whole body weight fell on my left foot, and I knew instantly, because I mean, I've misstepped before. Who hasn't misstepped on a step? I was like, this was not good. And just being in shock and in pain. I remember my husband came immediately to my rescue. He was upstairs sleeping and I woke him up with the fall and the yell. I was like, that was a really bad fall and I don't know what this means, but I have to go to the ER. And I remember trying to stand on it. I was like, I feel like I can't put any pressure on it. So I hobbled to the car, and my husband drives me down to the emergency room. I explained to them what had happened. They give me ice, and they're like, okay, we're gonna go get an x-ray. It's like, okay. I thought I broke something. So I get the x-ray, the results come back, and they're like, oh, it's just a sprain. You should be able to go back to work by Monday. And this happened on Tuesday morning, so in about a week. And I was like, okay. And at that point, I think because my foot was so swollen, they couldn't see the damage, and an x-ray doesn't show you as clear of a picture as an MRI. But he kept looking at me like he thought something else was up. And he's just like, just in case you don't feel like you're getting better, I want you to follow up with podiatry. I was like, okay. So come Thursday, I get crutches. I have it ace wrapped. And I was like, I can't put any pressure on this. And I don't know how I'm just magically supposed to get better and work like nothing happened by Monday. And I'm not one to make a big fuss about stuff. So I was like, I gotta follow up with podiatry, something's wrong. And my foot at that point is super swollen, super black and blue. I don't know what happened, but if it wasn't broken, what could it be? So luckily, Friday morning I called and they were able to get me in that afternoon. So I go see the podiatrist, and the podiatrist, he was looking at my foot. I've got all the telltale signs of what a torn Lisfranc looks like. It's bruising on the arch of your foot, and just swollen, and the landmarks of my bruises were the telltale signs. So the podiatrist was like, I think that you tore your Lisfranc It could be a partial tear, it could be a complete tear, but if it's a complete tear, it's gonna take about 18 to 20 months recovery, and you're most likely gonna need surgery. Like, but I wanna get an MRI to get like the best picture. He's like, once we get the results of the MRI, I'll send you over to the head of podiatry, and he'll talk to you further about how to treat this. But you're looking to be out of work about like 7 to 8 weeks. So it's crazy because it went from 5 days out of work to you're gonna need like 2 months off and physical therapy and possibly surgery. The following Wednesday, I go get an MRI and the results come back. Basically what the MRI results showed is that I broke a toe. I completely tore my Lisfranc. And like tearing your Lisfranc is like tearing your ACL, but you can live without your ACL. You can't live without your Lisfranc. It needs to be repaired. So pretty much think of like my bones, and they're all just like that. And I go see the head of podiatry on Monday morning, so almost 2 weeks after it happened. And the head of podiatry was just like, so it looks like a complete tear. This is a pretty bad injury. You're gonna have to have surgery, and then you're gonna be off of your feet for about 8 to 10 weeks. And then you're gonna do extensive physical therapy to get you up and walking again. So I was like, okay, you know, taking it all in, it's a lot, but I kind of knew it was coming. And he was like, and of course, so side note, I'm a nurse, and I know that it's very important to advocate for yourself as a patient, and you have to know the right questions to ask in order to do that. So I'm throwing it out here just as like food for thought, but I did ask that particular doctor, how many surgeries do you do of this a year? And he was like, I do about 6, which, not saying he's not a great physician, but that was a low number in my mind. And I asked him at that point, I was like, and I was suggested by other people to get a second opinion from ortho trauma, and luckily my hospital is known for that in the area that I live. So I told him, I was like, I'd like to see the ortho trauma team, and he was like, okay, I'll write you a referral, and then you can go see, but you're gonna want to schedule it as soon as you can, because you're gonna want to get this surgery done by 3 weeks. He's like, and we're approaching, like, it's already been 2 weeks, so you're gonna want to get this done. I was like, okay, got it. I was ready for this, to just like get the ball moving. So I got in contact with that doctor, Dr. Hirschfeld's secretary, and she was able to get me in to see Dr. Hirschfeld the next morning, which was great. Like, no time is being wasted. So I go see Dr. Hirschfeld. He was just like, okay, so like, you're definitely gonna need surgery. How does this Monday sound at 6 a.m.? I was like, okay, let's do it. I'm trying to pump myself up for surgery because I'm terrified. I don't know if it's because I'm a nurse, but I think sometimes it's just easier being the nurse than it is to be the patient. The idea of giving up all control to go under and get this surgery, fear of like not waking back up. So Monday morning comes, that's February 15th. They take me back, I scoot over from the wheeling cart, like the surgical table, the OR table. And they're like, okay, count like 10 back on. And I just remember, and they're like, you're gonna feel a burning in your IV. And that's the medicine, that's the propofol that puts you to sleep. And they also were like, you're gonna wake up with like a sore throat, because they intubate you, which is pretty wild to think about. Anyway, so the surgery goes great. It's about 2.5 hours. I remember Dr. Hirschfeld coming by, and he's like, yeah, there's a lot more damage in your foot than I suspected, but don't worry, we put 4 or 5 plates and screws to like make sure all my bones were in place. And the difference between podiatry and ortho trauma was podiatry said that they were going to go in and take the hardware out, which I was like, oh god, I don't want to get like another surgery. And ortho trauma is like, no, we're just going to leave it in there. So Now I have like a bunch of titanium in my left foot, but that's okay. I get this huge cast, and then I have a follow-up with him in 2 weeks. So these next 2 weeks, I pretty much stayed inside and I just took things day by day. That is my biggest suggestion, is just to take things day by day. Try to find the simple joys out of life that you can do sitting at home. Like, I can't remember last time where I leisurely just have a cup of coffee 7 days out of the week, every single morning. So I get my cast off after 2 weeks. I get put kind of like open air splint, I guess. I still can't put weight on it. I'm still using my scooter to go everywhere. I have to go up and down the stairs using my tricep muscles and sit on my butt. I can't shower independently. My husband has to help me get in and out of the shower. But in the meantime of doing all this, as a way to entertain myself, I started doing daily stories on Instagram, and I changed my handle to the Homeland Manor, because essentially I joked that I pretty much was living in a glorified nursing home as a 30-year-old woman. And then the day I got my cast off, the day they cut the sutures, that was by far the worst day of pain. So I just remember being so excited to finally get my cast off, and it honestly was probably the worst day out of the whole experience. Nothing could help my pain. I also didn't ask for pain medicine, so maybe ask for pain medicine. I tend to be a hard ass about that kind of stuff. And I think the hard thing was not get too excited about an improvement, because you might have one day where your foot is like less swollen, like the next 7 days it's swollen when you wake up in the morning. Or like you might have one day where like your foot's like, oh my gosh, like I'm not having any like tightness. The next 7 days your foot is like sore and tight every time you wake up in the morning. So just take it day by day. I know I've said that like 1,000 times. That's all you can really do. Now, I was in the splint, this open splint, for 6 weeks. And still using the scooter. And then I go see him again, and this was probably mid-April at that point. And then I get put in a walking boot. And that was the first time that I could put weight on my foot since January. It's not like you're just going from the splint and then just like walking like normal. They have you in a walking boot and you're walking with crutches. And at first it's like 2 crutches, then it's 1 crutch, then it's no crutches. And then eventually they get you out of the walking boot about 2 weeks later, and you can be in a brace and a tennis shoe. So this is the brace that I have. I wear this all day, right when I get up in the morning and right when I go to bed. And I don't walk around barefoot. I just pretty much live in tennis shoes and this. I go see the doctor June 8th, and I'll see how much longer that I need to be in this brace. But I did the walking boot, and then I started 10 weeks of physical therapy. It didn't take me too long to walk without crutches. It took me probably like a couple days. But I just remember to be able to walk around my block listening to music was so simple but so incredible. And to The Greatest Showman. And one of the last songs, Come Back Home Again. I'm probably saying it wrong. But I just remember it's like so happy. And I just remember being like so happy, and it was such a great moment. And like being able to walk up and down the stairs, that was incredible too. Like that was incredible. And like to be able to like get in and out of the shower by myself, also incredible. I mean, I'm sure I could possibly stand barefoot, but I still sit in my shower chair and have my foot elevated. And yeah, I'm just working on physical therapy. I'll give you guys a 6-month update, but life is getting back to normal. I haven't gone to any workout classes, but I did join swimming for the summer. I was a swimmer growing up, so you know, swimming was a good default stay active. I've made a lot of progress. I still have lots to go, but like I said, take it day by day. And if you're interested in continuing to follow along with my story, I do post daily stories on Instagram, and some of them is just like me talking and being me. But then I do show me doing physical therapy, and actually at the end of this video, I did take, during the time frame of these 14 weeks home, clips of my progression in my healing process, because I knew it would be good to look back on and be like, wow, like look how far you've come. You might be faced with like such a huge challenge and you can just like dig deeper to overcome it. But anyway, this is just my 3-month post-op recovery story. And if you'd like to continue to follow along, feel free to subscribe. I do plan on doing, like I said, a 6-month, a 12-month, an 18-month, and a 24-month. And I'm saying this right now as of May 23rd. So I got my surgery February 15th of 2021. In February, mid-February 2023, I plan to have a recovery party, because that will be 2 years after my surgery. And I'm planning it, and I plan to dance at it. I'll keep you guys posted on how I'm doing. Thanks for watching.